Hey, it's Matt here. I'm doing another replay analysis for a player from the OzDots Facebook page. It's this guy here called Shogun, and we're going to go ahead. He's playing TA here. I just want to point out that you've obviously chose to do last pick here, and that's normally pretty good if you want to play TA because he is a reasonably counterable hero. But I always try to think about like which supports I can pick off easily when I'm playing TA, and heroes that also can like break my refraction charges. So Winter Wyvern's obviously pretty annoying because his embrace just stops you being able to right click people, either him or others. Pugna also has the same thing with the Crypt, so he can either stop you killing him or others. Bounty Hunter has Invis, so you either have to have dust or you have to kill him. I mean, you can try to like one or two hit any of these people before they get their spells off if you are far enough ahead and you have enough damage, but you're relying on that. Also, you can have your you can get kited by slows from all of these, and you can get your meld charges, your refraction charges broken by rot and pugnalty, and that it's not a terrible game for TA, but it's like reasonably bad. So just sort of keep that in mind. And then they've picked Ember as well. Ember's interesting. I looked up a little bit of stuff about TA, because I mean, I've been playing this game for a long time, but I obviously still don't know everything, just, you know, like most people. I found out, just reading the wiki page is actually insane. You learn so much stuff, or I do anyway. I worked out that Ember's level 1, Ember at level 1, his Flame Guard doesn't break your refraction charges, because refraction needs to take more than 5 bonus damage, more than 5 damage instances to take a refraction charge, and Flame Guard ticks every 0.2 seconds. It ticks for, at level 1 it ticks for 6 damage, but you have 25% magic resistance, so you take less than 5 damage from his level 1 Flame Guard. So if he sits next to you, I did it in like a test match or whatever, if he sits next to you with Flame Guard on and you have refraction on, you still take damage, but it doesn't break your refraction charges. So that's really relevant early game in the lane. You take refraction here at level 1, which I normally do if I don't go Wraithband. I normally go refraction to get my early last hits by getting the bonus damage so that I can farm a fast bottle and then get more mana to use refraction again. I'm not sure if I like taking it early and just killing it there to save a bit of damage. I mean, you would have taken a fair bit, so it's probably worth it, but when you watch what's his name? Not Blitz, the other guy that plays TA all the time. When he goes Wraithband first, he often will go Sideblades, just because you're already getting the damage bonus from Wraithband, and then if you're in a lane like this where he's not going to be harassing you a hell of a lot, you can just be punching him with Sideblades. Like there, you can hit him, here you can hit him, you can be just harassing him down from very early. He's only got 2 shared tangos and a poor man's shield, so if you click on him and check his build, you know that he's not going to be getting his bottle for a while, and he doesn't have a lot of regen. So if you can push him out of lane or get him low, then he has to be scared to fight you. Because the thing you have to be worried about with Ember is if you get it low in creeps and he runs in with like level 2 Flame Guard and Searing Chains, and he catches you out by yourself, you're dead. As in by yourself, I mean like you and one other creep, so that his Searing Chains is, guaranteed to hit. I normally talk a little bit more about last hitting stuff, which is a little bit more relevant with TA, but I think, maybe we could have a quick look. But one of the things that I found out as well is that Sideblades doesn't calculate the direction from when you cast it, it's from when it lands. So if your creep is here that you're attacking and you're standing here and you throw it and it's in the air and he moves this way, you can move to the left. So you can sort of like follow him as he moves to try to dodge your attack so that it still hits. Hopefully that made sense. So to quickly summarize, the direction that the spill damage goes is calculated when the attack hits. So this is what you're doing here, but you're only, this is what I was talking about, getting him low with your spill damage. It's really easy to do against melee heroes. because they have to come so close to the lane if they want to contest for last hits. But you can start doing that early on and not let him get close to bottle. See, he's 642 here, so he only needs one more creep, or just he can tick gold and get his bottle here. But you still have done well enough to delay his bottle. Like, this really hurts him all this time here, where he doesn't have bottle coming out and he can't go for 2-minute runes. So I think you're doing the right thing here. Like, not, I mean, you push the wave in a little bit, but if you know he's crippled like this, try not to give him last hits under tower. Like, if you can keep them away, that means you just gave him his bottle there, right? So if you know he's low and he can't contest the lane, and he doesn't have regen, and he's gone for this early build, try keep the creeps over here so he just can't contest, and you sit close to the wave so that if he tries to come, you can just run it up and fight him. So yeah, I either would have gone Wraithband plus Sideblades and do the early stuff, or which is probably, I think, probably the best build versus Ember. Yeah, your other options, Refraction and Fast Bottle, just with a couple of branches. You got lucky there with the hook, I guess. There, I'd probably start fighting him earlier. So I know you're like a bit scared of the gank, and you know there's a punch around and stuff, but you know he's not going to have Slight at level 4. It's very unlikely. And he's sitting back here. You see he's out of range. I don't know where your camera position is, but I think from memory you could see it. I watched a little bit of this advance in your perspective. Yeah, you see him here, so just fight him. He's if he's right-clicking you there, he's taking aggro from these creeps, and you're out of creep aggro range, so you're not going to lose refraction charges to him. So as soon as he chases you that far, just fight him, because then he's got to blow regen to, or if he doesn't have regen, then he can't come back and continually gank you. Against a bounty, a good support will, remind them as well, like, just ask if they will buy you sentries. I haven't finished my sentence. They'll give you one, so if they buy sents to deward their lane, you can ask for 1 cent for mid. And you can put it at the start, because some bounties will come real early, but others won't come until they've got a few levels, so you can always get it chucked down a little bit later. So, can you be aware that the bounty's coming here? He's doing these weird... I think he just Searing Changed you with 3 creeps there. Yeah, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. So, for those of you that don't know how Searing Chains works, it only hits 2 units and it's random. So if there's 3 units within the area, here you want to be getting the hell out, right? Because he's got, sorry to keep rewinding, but you've lost your refraction charges, and he's popped Flame Guard. That is a visual bug for me here. I think you guys have it too. But he's got Flame Guard going, and you're really low, and you don't have your refraction up, so you can't fight him here. And if he's being that aggressive and the bounty hunter was just in your lane, you have to always be aware that that bounty can be around, which is just the annoying thing playing against bounty hunter. But even without the bounty hunter there, I still wouldn't have been fighting him in that situation. The other thing of how did you use your bottle? Sorry to keep rewinding. You used your bottle here for refraction, sorry, to get mana when you already are at full health. So I'm not sure about that. I guess, and it's not this wave that you want to be pushing out anyway. Oh god. I guess it kind of is to get the rune, but that really hurts you there. But that's what I was saying. You remember I was saying before about the Ember being able to catch you with like high levels of Flame Guard up and catching you by yourself in the Searing Chains, and that's how you're going to die in this lane, and it's the only way you're going to die in this lane, which is fairly reasonable. Shit, that hurts. So yeah, you just want to keep your distance, keep playing the Sideblades game, keep harassing him. The other thing about this build where you go the Wraithband, which is fine, like I don't think it's wrong or anything, but you don't have early boots, so it's harder to sort of keep your distance from Ember. And you're just going to burn to death there. You've got to keep running. I think here you kind of get too close to the lane again. This bounty's being a real dickhead, so I mean there's only so much you can really be expected to handle against the bounty. So you're trying to bottle through it there. You've got to keep running, I suppose. He's probably just going to shuriken you anyway. It's always rough. But ask for a cent, I guess, at this point. Or if you could have afforded to buy them for yourself. I've bought them for myself before as well, because it's just not worth the deaths. You didn't go for the meld attack there, and that was the only way you were really going to kill him. And you maybe could have fought the bounty. He's still got 8 seconds left on his Shadow Walk cooldown, but I mean, you can't really know that. He's got stun up. You could kill the bounty here. Reasonably likely. He also... Who has the scent? The Lena comes in with a sentry. Does he kill him anyway? No. So you could have killed the bounty there if you hit him. But it was a hard one to predict. Cool. That's good follow up. I've seen a lot of TAs recently and I've started liking it more and more, not going meld it too. It's kind of useful if you're fighting this much in your lane, but just for pure lane control reasons, going 2 points in Cyblades early can help you sort of keep distance from the hero, especially like it would be useful as well against Ember because you can attack, increases your attack range. It also increases your spell range, which makes it good against other range heroes. So you can, every point increases your total distance by 100 because it goes up 60 on the attack range and 40 on the split range. So it means there's 100 more distance that you can have from where you attack to where you spill damage to them. So you can be hitting, you can be spilling them from 1,000 range away, which is pretty massive. But yeah, against Ember it sort of more just serves to keep you, oh god, keep you safe at a safe distance from getting trapped. I mean, that was good. You ran up the hill to cast your attack there. Problem with TA that you always have to kind of remember, you don't do a hell of a lot of damage here, and he's at full health, so your chances of killing him are reasonable. But, so even your first meld strike only doesn't do enough to kill him, and when you get up here and the wave's coming, your refraction charge is going to pop real quick, and you know he's got Flame Guard up, and as I was talking about before, it damages every 0.2 seconds. So if you watch how fast your charges go down, it's real quick. It's every 0.2 seconds you're going to be losing a charge just from Flame Guard. So you've got 5 here, 4, 3, 2, 1, gone. You know, you don't. It's so quick, and really risky doing a shed on an Ember when he's got Flame Guard up and creeps around. But you managed to escape. See now, yeah, that's good. You had him. He was low. It was low. There weren't creeps around. I guess I'm not sure if you knew if the bounty wasn't there. I guess you saw him run past this ward. Yeah. In the end, it worked out, I guess, but you got very close to dying. But if you can watch out for the scenarios where Ember will use his Flame Guard to farm, like to push out a wave, and then you know it's down. It's got a 35-second cooldown. Then you can try to dodge that. I guess you dodged it with refraction, but there you see. I guess, did you know the bounty was up there? You saw him. He's gonna remnant here, right? Because he's just thrown it, and you still run into it, so you still take the damage from the fire remnant. So that's another tick down. You could have tried to dodge it and run back this way. Did you get away here? No, you died of burn damage. It's bad luck. You've gone treads as well, which I used to always go phase on him, but I'm liking treads more and more recently. One of the things I learned about TA, which actually sort of benefits that, is that the initial meld damage, so the armor reduction from meld occurs after your initial attack. So if you blink on someone, meld, hit them, it does the damage, does the refraction bonus damage, and then it does the meld reduction. So the extra bonus damage you get from phase boots doesn't stack or doesn't apply with that first attack from the armor. But if you've got treads, your attack speed's increased, right? So you can get, once after that first meld attack, the armor's reduced, you can more quickly get off more successive attacks and take advantage of the meld armor reduction. And it's also true for Deso, which is a super prominent build on TA now and always kind of was, but just more so now because it's cheaper. It's more common. Also, I don't know if you have many traps up around the map and you're level 8. something that's really important to do on TA as soon as you hit 6, if you have mana, is to get some traps up, especially on places where you have sentries against the bounty. If you've already got sentry there but you don't have vision of the area, the sentry's kind of useless. Running uphill there is really silly into these two guys. They've both got escapes. It's so risky. In there, I mean, you've got to fight. Once you're committed, you're never going to get away. You may as well do as much damage as you can. But I wouldn't have initiated there. TA is more about farming early game now than she is about fighting. She needs to get ahead to be able to dominate. If you can, you should be more focusing, in my opinion, on dominating your lane, farming your lane, stacking your ancients, stacking and farming these, like the stuff that meta heroes are doing at the moment. Right, TA can kind of fit into that because she has good farming capabilities, which is why putting points into Sideblades is beneficial as well, rather than meld. I've seen a lot of people go like maxing this and going like 2-2 in here and then maxing Sideblades. So we got like 4-0-2. I guess it's situational, but maybe 4-0-2 or 4-1-1. Working into maxing Sideblades because it helps you out heaps when you want to farm your big ancient stacks. I guess the way you've been playing TA, it's probably better to have meld points, but also it's important to have both. It's unfortunate, but you've got to just watch these situations. You already know this Ember's played aggressive on you and he's killed you a few times, so he's going to be feeling confident. You're getting in a situation here against an Ember where you only have you and one other creep and you just blew meld. I wonder if we watch that from your perspective, how you did that. It's worth A-clicking when you meld, not right-clicking, because if you misclick your right-click after you meld, then you just lost the whole thing. You're just going to move. You lose. Yeah, so you were right-clicked here. Almost, yeah, you did. So you pushed meld, pushed W, and then you right-clicked straight away. Cancelled your meld. If you hit W, A, left click, or W, you can even attack ground if he's the closest target. It just guarantees that you don't miss it. But what I was sort of saying before, which I'm not sure if I finished, was if you max meld with only 1 point in Sideblades, you have such short attack range that it's easier to miss your melds, because even if you attack move or attack click and you're not close enough to the guy, you're not close enough within your attack range, then you're just going to move and lose your meld proc. One of the other little tidbits I learned about TA while I was reading about her is that your invisibility from meld only breaks as your attack lands. So you're actually free to like move or blink out or do whatever while your attack animation is happening and while the projectile's still moving. You don't actually come out of invis until afterwards, which makes it impossible to like blink dodge the attack, I guess, which is pretty cool. So again, you don't have any traps down. If you had traps down around here, even when you're dead, you can be assisting in these fights. It's also huge scouting information. I try to always have one. It's probably the wrong time to be talking about this. There's fights going on. Oh, whoops. Oh wow, I just stuffed up and hit the wrong button. My apologies. You want to have two in your lane. I think this is where we were. You want to have, I have like having one here and then one either here or here. So if you can use the first one, start fighting him, use the second one as he's running away, go for kills. And then also having one here is quite good. If they go to farm the ancient stacks, you can spot it. One on the rune spots. Once you get to the level 11, like little choke points like this that sees so many paths. Or even here, like if they've got pudges in game, you want to be putting it on like hook spots. I think this is before we were up to. So you're super far behind at 13 minutes here. Your last hits, what are you on? 30. Yeah, it's super low for 13 minutes because you've been putting so much emphasis on fighting and you've been dying a lot. What you're doing here, you should have been doing 8 minutes ago. Also, just watch how you use your side blade attacks when you're farming these stacks. You can be a lot more efficient with it. That's pretty good. You can always find a way to splash the whole camp. You seem to be doing it here. It's good. It's a balance between not taking too much damage and splashing the whole camp. Remember to ask for stuff. Like, I mean, part of your MMR is how good you are at playing, but part of it was also to do with how good you are at communicating with your teammates, and getting the best out of them as well. So it doesn't hurt to sort of politely ask or remind people to stack ancients when they remember, because it's not a thing people are going to do if they're not going to farm it for themselves, or if they don't know that someone's going to use them. My headset just died briefly. This is super unprofessional for my already unprofessional videos. But just be dropping traps, man. You've got... Do you have any on the map? No, you've got 2 mid lane. I mean, sure, farming your jungle is a good sort of catch-up mechanism here, but you've got a lane here that is free to farm at the moment as well. And they're being quite aggressive, so you could farm their jungle. One of the things I've started doing on TA after watching some pros do it, Wagamama's the guy I've been trying to think of. I saw him do it, I think, in a game, or it might have been RTZ. Is if you can get this tower down here, while you're in this lane as well, you can have traps here to watch rotations. So if you have one here, and then one in the lane, you can watch for rotations to come gank you. Obviously, if they smoke you, it's bad news. You still have to have some map awareness, but you're going Alacrity first here as well. I don't like that. I like the Aquila, I like the Treads, don't like the Yasha first. Everyone has their build preferences on TA, but I like either Blink first after these, or Deso. Deso's good if you're farming. And even if you're fighting, it's still useful, but Blink is probably more useful if you're fighting. Just with the new buffs to, if anyone didn't know, but there was a new buff to how TA's Refraction interacts with Blink. So if you took damage while Refraction was on, it used to cancel your Blink, now it doesn't. So if you have Refraction up and you get hit 4 times, you can still just blink out. It used to not work that way. Again, these traps could be doing work for you, yeah. It's a big part of why TA is so good. It's the only hero that, besides like I guess Beastmaster, that can just have Roshan vision. You just chuck a trap in there, and for the entire game, you know what's happening in the Rosh pit. Again, you're not going to kill Pudge here. You've gone for the max meld build over Sideblades. Also, I think if people that go the Yasha build tend to go drums and phase as well, just so that you actually have, you don't have blink, but you have a whole lot of move speed. But I think that build is falling out of favor a little bit. Are you tread switching when you're using meld? Refraction, you're not. So that's another thing, because the meld mana got increased, it's even more relevant now to tread switch to it when you go to use refraction. It's another reason why treads are really important and useful in TA. While you're farming, I found another couple of useful things out about TA. When you're laning, your meld, I keep saying meld instead of refraction. If I've done that before, excuse me, but hopefully you know what I'm talking about. refraction charges aren't lost when you attack friendly units, so try to use, but it still does the bonus damage of refraction. So when you're in lane, you can try to hit your own creeps once they get to half as much as possible to try to, well, one, deny your lane. And also if you can use that to last hit, that's even better. So if you can last hit your creep, so like get your last hits by denying yours and or damaging yours and last hitting at the same time, then it doesn't waste a refraction charge getting last hits. Which isn't a real waste, but I guess it means you can, when you do have to use your charge to get a last hit without denying your own, then you still have it available. Because I mean the duration is reasonably long, 17 seconds, right? Also, that's the other thing, is if you're going into fights, just a general tip with TA, is you want to use your refraction early before you go in, because it lasts the same duration as its cooldown. So if it runs out by the time you get to the fight, it's fine, you can just use it again. But if you can start the fight with like 5-6 seconds left on the cooldown, then you can use up all your refraction charges and then pop it again instantly. It's kind of the same sort of theory as with Gyrocopter. When you're using flak, you get your flak starting on cooldown before you go into the fight, so you can use your attacks and then it'll be up again quicker. Used to be more important when it was a 20-second cooldown, I guess. Well, it's arguably more important now. So you're just going to be watching enemy movements here, and you're not really in a position where you can fight them. So to come back in this game, you need to be pushing middle here or pushing top lane. Farming jungle here is okay, but it's not going to win you the game. You need to be pushing your lanes out as fast as possible when they're grouping up and pushing like this, because then if they want to rotate to take a mid tower, their lane's already in their tower, or you're getting objectives. So if they let you get the mid tower, you're trading a T1 for a T2. When you're behind, that's something, right? Like if you can't take a fight at the T2, then you're going to lose it anyway. So you may as well get a T1 tower in the meantime and then fall back and take the farm in the jungle once they rotate to defend it. If you take the jungle farm while they're pushing, now they've pushed and they've left, your opportunity to do this is gone. So also pushing out the lanes delays the game more, so if you can push this lane out and push it into the tower here, it's going to slow them down. They think, shit, they're pushing into our tower, we can't sit around here at Roche and fight them, we have to go defend this. So you want to just make them move around the map, slow them down, stop them doing what they want to be able to do, and make them react to your movements, because at the moment you guys are having to react to theirs. That's unfortunate, Hook. It's just either unlucky, but you always have to keep this in mind when you're playing against Pudge. So on your perspective now, if we go back, and we'll go free camera and we'll get your fog. So for one, you've got 1-2 traps up, and you're still not. Oh, you didn't take second point in Sonic Trap. Okay, you still have only 5. But yeah, you should have one here. If you're standing on that side, you need to be aware of getting hooked from up here, and from in here, and these bushes, and from over here. So you run right out past all your creeps. I guess it's a bit hard to expect. Yeah, you're pretty unlucky there. That was a pretty good hook. But yeah. All the more reason to use your psionic traps when there's a Pudge in the game though, right? So you need to be talking to your team here and deciding if you want to defend the T2. You probably have and have decided that you're going to. Whether that's the right decision, I'm not sure. I haven't been fully paying attention to how well your whole team's item progression is going and whether you can actually take this fight. But my impression is that it's not going to be ideal for you. What are you doing in this fight? So you don't have Blink, you don't have Deso, so your ability to really kill people or move around in fights is relatively limited. So you've used your refraction early, that's good. You're staying on the fringes of the fight, which is good. Because TA needs to duck in and out, right? Like TA doesn't want to be right in the center getting focused. You're going for cleanup kills here. See, this is what I was talking about, the Cold Embrace, keeping himself alive. Hopefully it just delays it, you can kill him straight afterwards. He's got support. Use your trap. You saw them coming up the hill here. You could use your trap early to slow them down. Okay, so you've got bot tower now. The creeps pushed it out. I think a lot of this game would have gone differently for you if you had had a sentry ward against that bounty hunter. Also, if you focused more on farming than chasing fights up here and chasing in here to try to get kills and taking risky moves which lose you all your health and then lower you make you more vulnerable in lane. If you go for these aggressive early plays on TA rather than trying to get ahead by just dominating your lane and farming, that's the risk you're going to take, is that if it doesn't go well, then it can end up going very poorly for you, especially when they have heroes that can punish you for overextending, like Pudge and Bounty Hunter, or even just punish you for being low in lane or slightly out of position. Here you're all sitting behind your mid tower, you're just sitting in base here. You see 1, 2, 3 of the heroes. If this was me, I'd probably be getting traps up around here and trying to farm this. Because just sitting here is doing nothing. You've got a TP up. I would even be trying to go down here, farm these camps, because you know they're all going to be in like this area of the map. Almost certainly. The bounty hunters had to go back here to defend. This is what I was talking about, because this bottom lane pushed itself out. Had you have pushed that out, then that would have happened. It kind of happened by accident here, right? But now the bounty hunter's back here and you can take a 4v5 engagement. So if you push the lane out to here and then TP back, then you've got a favourable fight. And if you can take a favourable fight at this point of the game when you're behind in net worth, it can help swing a game back in your favour, because of catch-up mechanics. So that was a good fight, but that was more bad play by them in fighting when the bounty wasn't there, as much as it was good play by you guys. So here you're all farming together. Again, I would be going and trying to farm this. I don't know where their team is, but how do I get both? F1. Yeah, remember you can farm ancients. Especially if you can see where the bounty is, or if you can keep tabs on him. So you just saw him going through there, I think. Either that, or I can see invisible units and you can't. On spectator mode. So this is always a super dangerous sign. A Pugna sitting apparently alone in front of his tower is... indicator that there are people hiding and waiting.
Dire's tower is under attack.
I know you're trying to sit around and just sit behind your T2 and help here, help and be ready to fight if you can. I don't think it's me just being a greedy player when I say that you should be down here farming this. Like, defending this T2 isn't gonna change the game. If your whole team dies trying to defend it and you're not there, then I guess that's bad. But if you tell them to just defend high ground, which is what you should be doing, and they've only defended high ground and you haven't really gotten anything out of all this time, you could be farming this lane. If you had a blink as well, if you had have gone Deso blink instead of Yasha Deso, then it makes you a lot harder to kill. So if you just try to have refraction up when you're in lane, if the bounty hunter goes on you, or if you get hooked or whatever, you can blink out because you've got the refraction charge on, right? So as long as you have mana, you can always have refraction up, and if as soon as someone goes on you, you can blink into the trees and TP out, and that again makes them rotate, stops them doing what they want to do. They only really have chains and Winter Wyvern ulti as like lockdown for you to stop you doing that. Again, you guys are all just terrified sitting in your base here while they take Roshan. If you had a trap in here, you would know what they're doing. Use your traps. I know you've started to place them, I guess, now as you're playing more defensively, but this is 30 minutes into the game. You need to be doing it a lot earlier. Yeah, as soon as you see Rosh, bang, go here. Fuck these camps, man. Like, push this lane out. You're just scared to show in lane, but you know if they kill Roshan, you know that their team's here. Now you see them all middle, then you're doing the right thing. But pushing your lane out is so much more important here. Keep going. Even see the Lone Druid's telling you to do it. He's got the right idea, but you seem to have this thing against split pushing. And if you want to TP back to fight, TP to here. Don't TP to base. You were already mostly full health and mana when you TP'd back. What's the point in TPing to base there? You're 300, like 200 mana? I don't know, it's honestly not worth it. You've gone Send and Yasha too. Wow, okay. I really don't like that. Mentor is way more useful. Not so much in this game, like I don't really like either of the items to be honest. But SMY doesn't do a hell of a lot for TA. My opinion anyway. You've got traps to slow them. You don't want to have the sort of HP sustain from it. You want to be darting in and out of fights. You want to be getting picks, blinking out, coming into fights once they've already started and you can get some picks. You don't want to be taking the brunt of the damage. I guess the move speed's helpful. I don't like the item. You think you're much better to get damage and then into a BKB. So they're just 5-manning, man. Like, you could have had this T2 tower. You've got the leaner, I guess, to clear waves. You don't have the best lane defense, but Viper's reasonably scary to go uphill against. So is Spirit Bear. Spirit Bear, Lone Druid, but his Spirit Bear is scary if they can get entangled under the tower, or Viper can get ulti off on one of them. They can be reasonably scary to go high ground against. But this is, I guess the point is that this is a way to slowly lose the game, not a way to potentially win it. God, my hair looks awful. So it's, if you heard of the concept of playing to win rather than playing not to lose, sitting in, it's like, I guess Eternal Envy talks about it a bit, quite a bit when he goes for his like sort of sneaky Roshans and, you know, push till you die type stuff. If you sit in your base here and just wait on the high ground, you're not going to win doing that, but you might slow down how quickly you lose. Might even speed it up. To be honest, but if you go out and push these lanes, force them to react to you, get the farm, take some towers, you can potentially bring your team back into the game, because it's gold for your whole team, right? And more importantly, makes them react, makes them leave your base. They have to choose between sitting here in the high ground and going back to defend you. I think that's mostly what I want to talk about this game. Is there anything else I learned about TA that I wanted to talk about? We'll go to your player perspective. I didn't focus as much this game on the like nitty gritty things that you did. I feel like mostly like your mechanics weren't terrible, but more like sort of your game decision making, I suppose. Other things that I learned. If you cast, it's not as relevant. If you start an attack and it's flying through the air and you cast Refraction, it'll use up a Refraction charge when it hits, but it won't actually do the bonus damage. So generally, I mean, you use Refraction before you start fighting, but it's not like Storm's Overload, where if you attack and then use a Remnant, it'll hit them with Overload. It doesn't work like that. I don't know if that's working as intended or a bug, but no, I think that was about all of it. Just a bit about why Deso and armor reduction items and crit are good on TA. So the spill damage is calculated based on the damage you do to the initial target after all reductions. So if you Deso attack the first creep, ancient creep or hero or whatever, it reduces their armor and does a higher amount of damage to that initial creep, and then splashes and does that increased damage from the reduced armor to the rest of them. So if you can attack against low armor ancients when you're fighting them, you will do more splash damage. So it's not actually good to attack the big golem, I guess, by that theory, which I saw some people on Reddit talking about today that was right to do. But I guess by that theory, if you attack the lower armor unit and then lower its armor more, you're going to do more damage, so you'll do more splash damage and do more damage to the larger golem than you would have done if you attacked it directly. But then there's also something to be said for just attacking the closest creep, because then you actually splash on more targets. But it's just something to keep in mind. If you're playing against particularly high armor heroes like a Visage or something, you might not want to have him be your primary target, because your splash damage is going to be reduced. But more importantly, it's why Deso is useful on TA and crit, because if you crit the initial target, it crits everybody on top of the Deso reduction. So yeah, it's a good way to do damage to high armor targets. Actually, I guess that its armor here would still be applied to the spill damage.
Dire's top tower
Okay,
is
no,
under
because the
attack.
damage type is pure from the spell, so it doesn't apply. So that means like the 8 armor here isn't relevant when you're using it as spell damage. Anyway, this game's pretty much over. That was all the things I think I had to really say about TA. Just yeah, focus on farming more, focus on your early laning, your laning phase. I guess you were actually more looking for tips in your mid laning in general. I actually might do that. So if anyone else isn't interested in me going over that, you can cut off now. But I'm going to duck back to the start of the game and just sort of go over the I guess the mechanics that I understand of the early mid laning phase, like last hitting and pulling creep waves. So you got the bounty rune, which is awesome. You block the wave, which is cool. Player perspective. Here we go. So the creep wave is. I don't like player perspective here. I guess we'll leave it on. The wave's in the middle. See, he pulled the creeps and you haven't, so that's your first thing you can improve on. He's A-clicked you here and pulled the creeps back onto your side. He did it again, so he's pulling the creeps back to him to make it easier for him to last it. You're basically a melee hero at this point as well, with 140 attack range. You need to be doing the same thing. You need to be here, attacking him now, pulling these creeps back up to you, because you want them to be lining up here on this part of the cliff, so that you're still uphill and the creeps are downhill and he's downhill. It's not so relevant against against melee heroes, but like if the range creep starts attacking you, it's going to miss. And it's just an easier way to control your lane. You're closer to your tower, you're safer from bounty hunter, you're safer from hooks, and it's easier for you to last hit creeps, and then if he comes in to last hit close to you, you can attack him. But anyway, considering you haven't done that, if you're going to go sideblades, so refraction first, then refract for your last hits. I guess if he's not challenging you, maybe don't do it. But the reason I go refraction is I don't go the Wraith Band and I go early bottle build, so that I can use refraction to guarantee my last hits, because there's not really anyone who can compete with TA's base damage, including refraction early game. Like, you should just get every last hit. And deny, as I've recently found out, it doesn't use charges to go for denies. So you've got the first two. Here, you shouldn't be trying to compete for him over that. You're trying to sit close to him so that you can watch if he hits it and then take it afterwards. You should be backing up, making it follow you, making him get close to you there, because even if he swings at it, you can still deny it from up here. I mean, you can still last it from up there. Again here. No, your range creep is attacking his here, so I guess the only way to get this one is to, if you got refract damage up, you do, is to spill damage onto this. I guess you try to here. I do. You miss it, or you don't go for it. But you could have gone for spill damage to try to get that last hit, or you could have just ignored it, pulled the creep wave towards you again. Once it gets here, click him, bring the creeps back over to here, away from him. You've also got the creep advantage now, so if he comes close to you, then you can fight him. Here, you either want to go, you always want to try to get all of them. Don't be complacent with just getting most of them, right? So you've got 2 creeps here that are low at the same time. So either you need it instantly now, you need to start hitting one to lower it so that you can kill it before the other one gets low enough. So if they both get low at the same time, you either need to Psyblades both of them at once, and to do that I'd use Refract. You don't use your Refract charge here to do it, and it's too risky, right? Like what you end up doing is you hit this, you try to do it, and you do damage to this one, but it doesn't kill it, and then you miss that last hit. So either you got to Refract, get both, or here you've got to start attacking, like as soon as you get that, like start attacking this one, and get it low. You probably lasted it 3 times, so 1, 2, lasted it, and then follow up with this one. You don't have to worry about like pushing your lane as such there, I guess, because you've already. I think, did you miss uphill there, or did you just miss time it? You don't have to worry about pushing uphill because your wave's already going to push anyway. I missed it again. Whatever. Just, I think you were still downhill there when you attacked that, so you had a chance to miss it. So you just want to get to the top of the wave. So here you're in this awkward position where you don't have high ground vision, which is like scary against Pudge and that. So yeah, you've moved up to sort of check. Sometimes I'll do that, like I'll jostle back and forward between high ground, low ground, just to get a peak of high ground vision, or pull the wave back, which is really difficult to do when you don't have high ground vision, because, oh, this is nice. You get some good spill damage here, but it's difficult to pull creep aggro when you can't see the hero, because I always like go to A click him and then he disappears. That was good spill. Another great spill. It's good stuff. You're aiming for all of these. That's really good. What level is he there? He did have level 2 Flame Guard in that fight. Okay. Does break the reflection. So here, you don't have your bottle yet. So I guess you still want to go for the 2-minute rune. So if you push your wave out and then go top now, or bot, you can actually see there's a regen rune bot. I'll totally be going for that. Do you check the runes? Let's see. I'm guilty of this as well, but no, you just buy a bottle and then you just start running top. You got a ward bottom, use it. It's a free bounty rune, but free regen runes are cooler. So I'd now, with that regen rune still up, I would have pushed that wave out quickly and then gone. So I pushed the wave out quickly and then gone for the regen rune. That was a good last hit, another good last hit. I wouldn't go for that, because I think that was a good decision not to go for that last hit, because you don't know where that bounty is. There's also a Pudge that you just saw up there on the minimap, I don't know if you saw that. But running uphill into there to get that last hit is not worth the risk, because he can get that free chains on you, catch you out like I was saying before with the Flame Guard and chains. And you don't have boots yet, so you can't get out here. You just got to be a little cautious. As soon as he pops that Flame Guard, you don't have to contest him there. Like, you can just let him push the wave out and then fight him afterwards, because you're trying to contest him for it here. I think that's where Bounty Hunter fights you. So yeah, just keep in mind, if he pops Flame Guard there, what's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to miss a CS, because that Flame Guard's going to kill your whole wave, push it into you, and then you can farm it in the safety of your tower. If you try to fight him when Flame Guard's up, you're taking it on his terms. Like, he's already used his spell and committed to that. If you just pull back, farm your, like, let him take the farm, which he's likely going to get anyway, and then engage him after that when Flame Guard's down, or harass him after that when Flame Guard's down. So yeah, I think that's really where it sort of starts to fall apart for you. But you got to remember that TA is a hero that can farm quickly and come back if you don't get onto it. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, I don't know if you could have predicted that. I guess you hadn't seen the bounty anywhere on the map, but that's, yeah, shit. I hate playing against bounties. It's just rough. And I wonder if he should just stay invis here. I guess you were just gonna burn to death to Flame Guard. No, I don't think you were. Maybe you were. I was still going for quite a while.
I leave the temple.
What you can do
Undefended.
is refract bottle meld. So like you can refract hit him, or even just refract bottle meld so that you don't take as much damage instances from like creeps and stuff. But just use the refract to get off a bottle charge and then go back into invis again. I guess you tried to do that when you ran away to here. Maybe you didn't pop your bottle recharge early enough. But yeah, have a sentry against the bounty hunter. Otherwise, I think you did most of your. I gave you some tips on your laning stuff, but it's not too bad. I just think it was more your item build and your sort of early to mid game decision making and late game decision making that you could have done a lot better on in this game. Alright, cheers, hopefully that wasn't too long. Oh god, it was. Okay, bye.